Welcome back to Heads Up with Em. Today I'm joined by an incredible family who have turned one of life's toughest challenges into a mission to make a difference. In August 2023, Emma was diagnosed with brain cancer, and since then, her four sons, Ben, Tom, Jem, and Sam, have been inspired to take action. This August, they'll be running an incredible 80 kilometers from Bondi to Manly to raise money for the brain cancer group. Their journey is being documented on Instagram through 80 for 80, where they're sharing the dedication and training to prepare for such an enormous challenge. I highly recommend you follow along and, of course, donate through their link. Today, we'll hear more about Emma's story and what inspired the boys to take on this fundraiser. Okay, welcome back to another episode of Heads Up with Em. Today, I'm so happy to be joined by a beautiful family who is raising money for the brain cancer group. We've got Emma and her sons, Jem and Tom, joining us, who are hoping to raise 10K for the brain cancer group by doing a marathon, or their own marathon, 80 for 80, in August. Welcome, guys, to the podcast.
Thanks for
How are
having
you?
us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So a little bit of a story. Emma, you were diagnosed with brain cancer in 2023, is that right?
Yes, in August the 8th, which will come up in the conversation.
Oh, of course. Yeah, so you really are followed by eights.
The
Yeah,
8th.
Yes, lots of
yeah.
eights.
Yeah. And now your sons have decided to take on this 80 for 80 run from Bondi to Manly.
Yes.
Fantastic. And the 80 obviously represents the 80 days of treatment that you have undergone. Is that right?
That's right. So it's 80 kilometres. You can correct me. 80 kilometres they've worked out 80 hours of my treatment in total.
80 days.
Sorry, 80 days.
Yes. I was actually on the exact same treatment. I realized as I was reading through all the days, I was like, oh, okay, I'm on 80 as well. Yeah, that's fantastic. And you boys, how old are you guys?
So there's four of us boys. Oh gosh, I'm 23, Jen's 21, Sam
Ben,
was
5.
19, and Ben's 25.
Okay, nice. And are you runners?
Not really. Depends who you ask. Jem and Ben have both run half marathons in the past. Before we started training for this, the longest I'd ran was 12 kilometers.
Hey.
So yeah, now we're training for 80, and those numbers are increasing at a scary rate.
When I was first diagnosed, I was worried that I was going to have to turn into an elite sports person, but I love the idea that encouraging my family to do so instead works out really well. And I think it's beautiful that you boys have collaboratively taken on the challenge and probably motivating each other by doing it, as a team as well. It's fantastic. So where are you at with donations at the moment?
So we've raised, I think it's just under $7,500 at the moment, which is unreal. We're pretty stoked with that, considering we probably launched, I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And there's still just under 8 weeks until we actually do it. So yeah, the sport's come through thick and fast, and we haven't probably done as much advertising as we will end up doing. So that's why, yeah, we've actually raised it to $80,000, because we thought 80 for 80 for 80 has a great ring to it. And
Sounds better.
why not be ambitious with it?
I think that's amazing. And I totally think you can do it. I'm so excited by the story. I'm so excited by the teamwork. And I think it's so beautiful to take something, very difficult situation that you've all been put in and turn it into something positive. And for your beautiful mom, I think we can all get behind that. So take our listeners back to 2023, where this all started for you guys, because I think you were all at very formative ages. You all fully understand, what's going on. And what was that like for you, Emma, and your sons, obviously, together?
Well, Tom found mum, so Tom can talk about this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so August 8th, 2023, Mum was studying, she was doing her master's in primary education at the time, and was doing an assignment downstairs, and I was upstairs with my now wife, Jazz. She was about to head off to rugby training, and so we came downstairs, and Mum was just sitting on the floor, and then I was like, oh, that's a bit weird, but history of low blood pressure, so I was like, oh, maybe she's feeling dizzy, and then I went to check on her, and so like, Mum, you okay? And she said yes. And so I was like, oh, phew, awesome. And then she just looked out of it. And so I was like, can you tell me your name? And she said yes. I was like, okay. what's your name then? And she just kept saying yes, and then occasionally she looked concerned and say no. And then I pressed some more, and the only words she could say was yes or no, and she couldn't say anything else. But
Wow.
it was really interesting. I could see in Mum's eyes at the time that she thought she was speaking normally, and it's a thing called Wernicke's aphasia, I think, if my neuro brain remembers. But she thought she was speaking normally and was just coming out as yeses or nos, and so we called an ambulance pretty quick at that stage. We're sort of like, oh, something's definitely not right with the brain. While on the phone with the ambulance, Mum went into a full tonic seizure. So blue in the face, foaming at the
Oh,
mouth, or all the above, which is pretty noisy, pretty scary to see Mum in that sort of position and going, am I going to have to do CPR on my mum? Like she stopped breathing. She was seizing for I think about 4 minutes, and then sort of came out of it and started breathing by herself when she was in a recovery position. Thank goodness. But at this stage, Jazz and I were like, oh my gosh, this is a medical emergency at this stage. Still on the phone with the ambulance, and Mum sort of came to a little bit sort of after a 10 minutes or so, but was just speaking gibberish, like had no idea what was going on, couldn't say a thing, like genuinely just forming sentences that would not make sense to anyone. That stage I was sort of like was still just waiting for the ambulance and making sure Mum was still breathing, and she was still in and out of consciousness at this stage. And then Ambos got to her, did some tests, and so took her into Royal Shore, and they quickly, like Jazz and I were sort of like, oh, maybe it's a stroke, and they pretty quickly confirmed that it wasn't. And with the little bit of medical background, I was sort of going, if it's not a stroke, it's going to be, and epilepsy gets diagnosed early, it's probably a tumor at that stage. And then Mum spent 2 days in emergency and getting scans and all that, before being admitted to the private hospital, where they found in emergency, they found the tumor pretty quickly. It was about a golf ball size, so not a small one. And the doctors are sort of like, it's just been growing for however, like probably a number of years. And it's just, for whatever reason, August 8th was the night where it hit, and then there was a actual symptom there. And then Mum stayed in hospital for a week, had surgery. So I think about 6-hour brain surgery on the Monday morning. And then 2 days in ICU, and then sort of from there released into the wards and spent another week or something in hospital before getting back home. And so that's the sort of August, and then watching her after that go through the brain cancer treatment of radiotherapy and then chemotherapy after that as well. So pretty put down world upside down, without a doubt. Like before that, no real medical issues in the family, like, at all. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
It's a
so
surprise.
yeah. So from nothing to full lights and sirens to the hospital, and significant size brain tumor and ICU and all that was pretty overwhelming for the family at the time.
Absolutely. And I think what really resonates with me for your family is that I went through this and I really had to, my children were so little. So I really considered myself and my husband. Obviously, there's my parents and my sisters involved, but there are so many people to navigate in this kind of story as well. There are 5 children, all of which have a very coherent understanding of what's going on, whether it's a young child or, you're in your 20s. So there's a lot of people to manage in this kind of situation. So I really can't, I really feel for that and try to picture myself and how I would have coped in that scenario, being a mom and trying to manage everyone's emotions and expectations of what might happen and what that might look like. So that must have been really hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think hard, but also probably a blessing at the same time, given that there's 4 of us, and we're definitely all closer now as a result of it. But
Mhm.
like, whilst on the phone with the ambulance, we sort of kept them there, and I called Dad, and Dad didn't pick up because he was in a meeting at the time. Left a few messages, but called my brother, had just moved out it was 20 minutes away, and he literally walked in his door, got the phone call from me, and ran out and got to Mum before I got to our house, sort of before he was the first one that wasn't at home that got there.
Yeah.
And even though, like, Ben's not in the medical field, and didn't really have any idea what was going on, but just knew that Mum wasn't well, just having him there as well, sort of calm. There's a more calming presence, I think. And then also just in the weeks following, just having people there who could relate and sort of everyone knew what everyone was going through, and having that support there is sort of in a way sort of you can spread the pressure and the stress and the grief as well, I guess, between multiple people, and share those experiences, which is obviously a huge part of getting over things as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It sounds amazing that you really
Mm,
sounds like you have each other's back.
mm.
Uh, and how has the last 3 years been for you, Emma, and the boys? And where are things at for you now?
I'm in a weird phase at the moment. Positive though. So my last scans have been great. There's increasing optimism, which is fantastic. The thing I'm doing at the moment is trying to withdraw from the anti-seizure medication. So last time I tried, yes, I had a small seizure. So after all the treatment, I did try. So I've been on another 14 months to just let my brain try and heal a little bit more. And yeah, so I'm trying that again just to come off it, which just means I can't drive again. So that's like, I feel like I've gone a whole bunch of steps backwards, but I haven't. Just
Yeah,
that way.
it's really hard to lose that independence again.
Yeah.
I did that with the reduction of the medicine as well. You try a little bit, you test yourself. Oh, maybe I'm pushing the boundary a bit too far. And you have to try it all over again. But once that reduction ends and you're off it, it is a good feeling to not have to think about taking any medication.
Was.
Uh,
Yeah.
even now, I love writing down when people, ask me on medical things, what medications are you on? Just saying nothing. It's such a
Oh,
good feeling.
so
It's
you have done it. Well done.
yeah. It took some time, same as you, and stopping and starting. But it is such a liberating feeling to just say I'm not on anything and
Yeah.
feel normal again, feel like yourself again.
Yeah. It makes me feel less of an old lady.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
should say.
Don't, don't worry. Oh, that's great. And how has the training been like for all of you? So, are you training weekly, fortnightly? Are you training together?
So most of our training's individual. We're a bunch of mates run as well, so we run with friends here and there. But most of it'll be individual. We'll do a bit together when we go scout out and do a bit of recon on the route of Bondi to Manly, and we'll suss what that looks like. In terms of training, everyone's going pretty well, except I'm in a bit of danger. I've kind of been running all year, but I pushed it for my last half marathon training a bit much. So I've got kind of stress reactions down both my shins, but in the last 4 weeks. So back into running now, but I won't build up to what I would have wanted to before 80 Ks, but we'll get through it nonetheless.
So it'll really be a test for you.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Fantastic. I'm so excited to watch. I really enjoy the videos online and following your journey. And it's nice to see you boys recruiting friends as well through the trainings. I think that's really fun. And has it been helpful for you guys to kind of have this common goal and almost like a positive distraction for you? And changing, yeah, we're talking about changing something from a really negative experience into something positive. How's that been like for you?
It's been really good. I think we've always sort of wanted to do something. I think it's pretty special that we're 4 boys and we thought, okay, we can really do something special here. And I think Mum also would have loved us to do something to raise money. And I think, yeah, it's pretty unique to be 4 boys doing all something together, achieving a common goal. And so we sort of, it's kind of hasn't really worked the last few years because we've all been busy with Ben and Tom getting married and Sam finishing school and me finishing school as well. And so, yeah, we kind of touched base at the start of this year and I was kind of keen to get something going and sort of see what that looks like. It was going to be kind of just a one event big fundraiser where we get as many people as possible, but the logistics of that were going to be pretty hard and that you have to invest pretty heavily into those sorts of things to really get them off the ground. And we didn't want to half-ass what we were going to do. And so we're then going to walk the 80 Ks and then we're like, oh, well, yeah, that's hard, but why don't we push ourselves a bit more? It's not like Mum went through anything easy and she couldn't just take the easy option when she was going through treatment. So we're like,
Right.
We were like, let's run it.
Yeah, no small feat. We were. I think we decided we'd run it June, maybe probably May, probably mid-May was when we finally decided that we'd confirmed that we would run it. Which in terms of
May this year?
May this year, so in terms
Oh
of
my
getting end of April, early May. In
Yeah.
terms of getting ready to run 80 kilometers, it's not a very big time frame. It's definitely pushing it to the extremes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sort of they sort of dragged me on board. I was the one resisting a bit more. I was sort of going, nah, we're probably gonna get hurt, but it's all right.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. And you touched on, watching your mom go through this process, and I like the fact that you have chosen to run because it's not an easy process. What was it like for you guys, uh, as watching your mom go through it? Uh, how was that experience, and what has it taught you about that kind of resilience?
Um,
I think
oh,
resilience is the biggest thing. I think that's the number one word for it. Like obviously, mum just went through the absolute ringer, both. Well, I mean, with surgery, with radio, but I think the hardest to watch was the chemo. To be honest, where she was at home and like on the surface, it looks less dramatic because it's I think mum was taking a pill, like
Mhm.
the tablet, so that like not even going into hospital, but just sort of watching her just anything just be absolutely exhausted. And then obviously the side effects that come through that way, her patience is a lot lower because she just doesn't have the energy. And particularly when we had a 6-year-old sister with quite raging ADHD running around the house, like it's just a superhuman effort from mum, to be honest, to still hold the house together essentially. And obviously we picked up a fair bit of what we were doing around the house, but mum still being present and you know doing so much was so impressive. And I think yeah, that's one of the things that I mean, at least I'll be drawing from while running, sort of thinking about is how hard mum worked for not just for us but for herself and getting better and still being as functional as she was when just you could tell that she was not in the mood for it. I'm certain that in the run I'll hit a stage where I will not be in the mood for it, but keeping that in mind and then just pushing through because that's what mum did. And then each kilometer that we run is another day of treatment that mum had. So yeah, that's sort of the mental side of it there.
Absolutely. I think it is such a blessing that we're able to take a pill and we're able to do it from home, but it's definitely forgotten about the challenges that come with that. And it's certainly not easy, and it's definitely uncomfortable and sets you back a lot. And on top of that, you're recovering the surgery, as you said, Emma. It takes such a long time to recover from it and recover from the effects of the radiation. You're not feeling yourself. You're exhausted and taking care of your household. While also there are so many changes going on. You've got a 6-year-old. Two of your sons have finished school during this process. Yeah.
Got masters I'd started in education.
Yeah, exactly. Are you doing that?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Take your
I've put
time.
I've put that on hold, but
Yeah.
I had this whole new pathway planned and just went, whoop. So
Exactly.
yeah.
No, that's part of it. You kind of have to redesign, reshape your life,
Yeah.
and you find new blessings within that as well. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people take on that kind of mindset as well. My family certainly did. And it's really nice to reflect back on with each other. And I'm often surprised by what my sisters might have taken from watching me go through this experience. So what's have helped you guys stay motivated as a collaborative of, siblings? Are there any things that keep you guys motivated or help you, get through some of the more challenging times as with this as a family? Is it just sport, or what other things might help you guys out as support persons to your mom?
I don't know. I think we've all become a lot closer from this, and I mean, especially during it was actually just we could best support mum if we took almost a step back ourselves and made sure we were all right with each other, and we love the Swans going to the AFL. We love watching the World Cup at the moment all together, and so yeah, it's sort of sports probably the biggest one that we all get along really well with, and I think having those sort of moments where we could spend time together. Not that we don't love mum, but away from mum, to sort of reset and recalibrate, and also really check in on how we're actually going, because often one brother would be struggling a bit more than the other through different parts of mum's recovery and mum's treatment. And so, yeah, I think sport was probably the most unique way that we really got together through that tricky time.
I think that's great. And something that also just doesn't have to do with cancer. Sometimes it's really good to, talk about those hard things and, have a family discussion about those trickier times. But other times you just want to feel normal again. You want to feel yourselves again. And it has uniquely bonded you. And you'll feel that with whatever you're doing. So it's really nice that you can, understand that, we have really grown and we have really bonded through this experience, and turn it into something positive like this. Emma, what has it been like for you watching your children go through this and having, having to have these conversations with your children? I touched on the fact that my children have been really young, so I have been blessed with the fact of I don't really need to discuss it with them right now. I try to make it obvious in pictures and things like that. And if they ask questions about my MRIs, I'm quite open. But I haven't had to have, chats with them about cancer and things. Obviously, that time will come. What has that been like for you? And have you got any advice for me?
Yeah, it's very different with the older kids, obviously, and because they all saw it firsthand. I think my husband's been amazing in the whole thing. So obviously, I was in hospital for it took 2 weeks really for me to come home again. So the little one who was in kindy, so it was a massive. I mean, it was August, but it was a massive change of year for her anyway, if you understand.
Yeah.
In the first 2 weeks, she came in to see me and so on, but the tricky conversations weren't with me. So that was one thing. I do remember things like we drove past the hospital again a few months after I'd come home and everything. And she just looked at it. We didn't bring it up. She looked at it and she said, "I hate that place."
Oh,
I went,
poor
"Oh my
thing,
God, they really helped mummy, it's not, I know it felt awful, but so I think it's just an element of recognizing feelings. You've said you're open already, and I think that's fantastic because staying open to questions as they pop up is really beneficial, and not being afraid of using the cancer word. Because she was already at school, I was a bit worried at the beginning that other parents might be discussing it or she might hear it from other kids. We did have a few cases of cancer in our school year as well, so it wasn't just me.
Yes.
And some had tragic results. So I sort of presented to her that it can go either way, and we've talked about that. But sort of with assurance of all the positive news I've had. So it would be very different if I had a very poor prognosis. So I'm grade 3, but I'm the IDH mutant, as I call myself.
Yeah.
Like many.
Yeah.
Oh, not many, but several. And so it's good to be open. It's good to use the language in bits, I think, as they go on. And I also found really helpful the Cancer Council brochure on Talk to Your Kids About Cancer. So it's general cancers in that brochure, but it's a really good summary, I think, of tips how to do it. Yeah.
That's good. I have been very grateful for even just working with the brain cancer group because there's memorabilia around my house, and I'm always just talking about the brain cancer group. So I almost want to just like have those words in their head so they're not very afraid. And if they were to ask me, I could just be like, well, you've watched mommy go through this before, and I've been fine all this way. We can do it again if there was ever a problem. That's kind of how I try to imagine it, but it's definitely hard with different characters and different ages. And what was it like for your sons? Were you in the HSC at the time, or?
Jim,
I was actually first year out.
yeah.
I got that wrong earlier. I was first year out. Sam was year 11.
Sam was about to start his HSC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was first year out. Tom was third year uni. Ben was first year of full-time work.
Yeah. So there were 2 sons living at home as well. And
And yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Three.
Yeah.
Three.
Great.
I'm
So
with you there.
I was going to butt in before when Jen was saying of the advantage of sport. We've actually had massive family things on, positive family things. So we had, while I was trying to get that assignment finished that night, I was trying to rush it because we were about to host the engagement party for the eldest, for Ben.
wow.
So we had that. We did delay it in the end, but we still managed to get it done, I think, just before radiotherapy started, I think. Yeah.
And the gap between.
Yeah. So we had an engagement party, then we had a wedding like 2 months later so that was August that it all happened, and the surgery. Their wedding was in mid-November. So we had that element of joy parties. I think we've had several 21st or 2 21st. Oh, Sam's 18th in there. So, I think that's been a real positive as well. It's just having those.
And it's all of these events are bringing your family together and closer together. And that's fantastic. And sometimes they can bring out a lot of emotions. Those events can be really emotional, but really beautiful. And it really teaches you the lesson of family and how important that is. Okay, so we're just going to trade a brother at the moment. We're going to say bye to Tom and welcome in his brother, Ben.
Hello, hello. See you later, Tom.
See you later. Thanks for having me.
Thank you,
Thanks, Sam.
Tom. Bye. Hi, Ben. How's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you going?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for
And
having me.
What
Excited to be
number
here.
brother are you?
I am brother number umero uno.
fantastic.
So I'm the eldest and the boss of the four of us.
Amazing. Are you doing all the editing of the videos?
No, I'm purely joking. Everyone's doing the editing, which is good, but I'm the de facto leader in some sense.
That's all right. I'm one of 3 sisters, and I think she'd take on that role as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And how has training been going for you?
Yeah, it's been good. I'm actually at a stage where I'm really enjoying running, which is nice. It doesn't start like that, but no, I'm good. I'm feeling fit and healthy, and just looking out for my body and trying to get out running as much as possible.
Fantastic. What was your starting kilometer? Like how many kilometers do you think you could run at the start?
My start, so the longest I've ever run was a half marathon at an event in Sydney. I actually had a pretty bad ankle injury last year. So I hadn't been running for a while. So I did a grade 3 tear in 2 of my ligaments in my ankle in a touch footy game. So I was like rehabbing from that. So I was probably at 10 to 12 kilometers max when I started. Once we first had the idea and it was getting into motion, it's probably starting at 10 to 12 kilometers would have been the max I could have run.
Fantastic. And how long do you guys think this will take you, the 80K?
Yeah, it's one of the great questions. I guess it depends on how we go on the day. I think anywhere between 8 to 12 hours
Wow.
is where I would like to get. If we ran non-stop at our goal pace, it would probably be at 8 to 9 hours, somewhere in there. But that's not accounting for us to make stops or like get do some strapping or have some food, because we need to do a lot of fueling, or even if one of us just blows up and we just need to get back in the game. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was just thinking I need to get you some Scoop Whole Food snacks because that's what my family business is.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we need to get you supplied with some good snacks to keep you going, because I saw some of you you had some baby pouches.
Yeah. It's one of we've been trying to learn as much as we possibly, because we're not ultra runners or marathon runners for that matter. We've just been trying to learn as much as we can. And obviously you need a lot of gels and stuff when you're running to get like easy carbs and sugars and energy. They're just so expensive. Like one gel is around $5 to $6 usually. And so when you're pumping 4 on a 20-kilometer run every half hour, it gets pretty expensive pretty quickly. And so we've just been following a few people on Instagram who are veterans at ultra running, and fueling ultra runs. And they reckon this one guy was recommending baby food and maple syrup as a mix. It's got high carbs and lots of sugar, and it costs like $1 total. So that's what we've been trying, and it's actually been really good. It's been
Oh
nice.
my God, amazing. Well, if we can give you some maple syrup, we can do that. We can get you some dried fruits, whatever you need, let me
Yeah,
know.
that would be absolutely amazing. That'd be awesome.
Fantastic. And Emma, back to a little bit about your experience. You and I are actually on the same treatment plan. We have a very similar diagnosis. And what has your experience been like? We've got the same treatment team. What has your experience been like at the brain cancer group?
They were fantastic. So first step, my surgeon, I mean, you can't even see the massive scar. He was fantastic, Raymond Cook. And then each of them, all the others in the group, Michael Back and Helen Wheeler and Marina, have been absolutely amazing, supportive, patient with all my questions and all my asking and all my appointments. Marina, especially I was able to email her, call her anytime. The support's been fantastic, let alone their excellence and I just feel like I'm under the best team. And I think the thing in the last couple of weeks with I think most of Australia has grieved the loss of Professor Scollier, and I know they supported him really well too. So I'm just really grateful that, and Sammy had a friend with him from school who passed away with a brain cancer 6 months after school finished, and I just think the level of research as well as the level of care that they're doing is outstanding. So that's why we are so keen to support them, not just for us. I'm really proud of my boys that they're doing it for me, in case it ever comes back as well. But we do know other people and hear about other people going through terrible brain cancer diagnoses as well. So the sooner we can make progress with prognoses, the better. And that's what the fundraising is for.
Absolutely. I think the Brain Cancer Group provides such amazing care, from obviously physical treatment to emotional and support, and Marina's role as well as our nurse practitioner is amazing. We're so blessed to have the best team ever. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. And thank you, Ben, for jumping on.
No, that's okay. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining us for this episode of Heads Up with Em. I highly encourage you to donate to these guys. You can find their Instagram tag below, and we look forward to continuing following you on your journey and your training journey and the final event in August.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Heads Up with Em. I hope you enjoyed today's conversation. If you're a brain cancer survivor, a caregiver, or someone just looking for some inspiration, remember you're not alone and your story matters. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review if you enjoyed the episode. It helps others find this space too. If you want to connect, you can find me on Heads Up with Em Instagram and my Instagram account, Emily Francesca Kirk. I'm excited to share more with you next time.